I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Do you believe it's the first week of May? Yo, hello everybody, my name is Flobo Boyce, and you are tuned into the NXT After Show exclusively on AfterBuzz TV, Wrestling and Sports, and guess what? It's one half of our Wednesday wrestling coverage, and the other show with Dynamite coming after this one. So this basically was a takeover light. I mean, we had two title matches, and we had a grudge match between one of Jim's boys, Dominic Gargano. But before we get to all that, I got to introduce the all-star panel who's joining us today. First things first, this guy is the CEO of Real Talker, has a Patreon in the works, getting that content, getting them crashing opportunities. Give it over to Jim Alexander.
What is going on? All you cool cats and kittens. I'm keeping the memory of Carol alive, okay? What's this? I see something coming in. No one's interrupting the king, okay? The king's entrance is not interrupted ever, okay? I don't know what you guys are playing, but a lot to talk about on tonight's show. So, Flobo, I am going to be doing a Patreon. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, a new challenger appears. Can this be one of the founders keeping the ship afloat of Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly? She is, in fact, Emmy nominated. Give it up for Championship Wrestling from Arizona correspondent Emily May.
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well.
I mean, it's kind of warm outside, but, you know,
it is. It's beautiful. Sunshine, flowers, you know.
We're talking about it's 52 degrees.
Oh, yeah, we're in Chicago. But speaking of warm, I'm going to go all the way to where humidity was actually invented. Florida, that's where this guy's coming from. You can find him at Humza Mania. Get over Humza. Khan, how you doing, sir?
What's up, guys? Yeah, it's 90 degrees here in Florida. There's mosquitoes outside and bugs as well. But the worst thing about it, there's Floridians outside. I do not like it, but I'm excited to be here with y'all.
Hey, Humza, Floridians are the least of your concern. You got a Samoan shirt. Someone's going to come after you soon. That's TK Trinidad, okay?
Hey,
Samoan dynasty,
she's going to try to put you in that dynasty, okay? There's no question about it. So you better stay tuned.
In that dynasty. Okay, so Takeover Nxt. It was announced all week that these huge matches. I just want your overall thoughts about the show because a lot of segments happened today. Jim Alexander, thoughts and the placement of tonight's first matchup of Gargano and Dijakovic.
My boy got the shaft tonight because, first of all, how do you put my boy against that scrub who comes out with horrible new music, trying to make him seem like he's intimidating or something? He's not. Everything they're doing with Gargano is working against him right now. I'm hating this heel thing. Just keep this guy as babyface because that's the only way he's somewhat relevant. Because there's a difference between being a completely cowardly kind of scary cat heel, and they're trying to make him into like a badass heel, which is completely missing the mark. That entrance song was for like a badass sort of gimmicky kind of bad guy, you know? And here's Gargano coming out, all 5'2" of him, trying to intimidate my boy, 7 foot tall, full of jacked up glory, my boy Dominic Dijakovic, and he takes the loss. Absolutely shameful. It was one of the most embarrassing matches and segments I've seen in a long time in NXT.
Real talk, Jim. If I'm your boy, please get my name right. My boy, Dominic Dijakovic.
Yeah, like if I'm your friend, I want my name to be right.
Listen, my boy is from Croatia. We're doing it authentically, okay? I'm doing the authentic version of his name, not this Americanized name.
Props enough. Emily May, thoughts about Johnny Gargano's, I guess, revolution, it seems, all heart and no soul, quote unquote, in today's matchup against Dominic Dijakovic.
You know, I'm still getting used to like this transition. I really want to see him. I felt like this match was good, but I want to see him do something totally mean and aggressive. And I want to see it in everything he does. If he's taking this really big push of changing his whole personality, kind of his whole character, I want it to be above and beyond. I want it to be over the top. And I feel like I'm not feeling that yet. So I felt like there was solid wrestling. It was a solid match. But I want each moment, if this is his new, like he has this new entrance and this new look and this new vibe, I want to feel it. I want to feel it jump at me on the screen.
So that's my question I have for you, Humza, because you are a practitioner of the wrestling arts and sciences, right? So you have a brand new character, you got some bit of edge, and there's no crowd to work off. So that's unfortunately, it's a unique situation for everyone. How do you get this idea across? Because to me, as a guy who watches the show, I didn't believe Dominic would have lost that match if you paid him to. That looked weak as hell. What was Johnny Gargano missing, in your opinion, if he was missing anything at all?
Dijakovic. I've been saying that name in my head 100 times to make sure I don't say it incorrectly like Jim.
Well, Jim does. You're fine.
Come on, I mean, I
joke of
kind
it.
of got where they were going with this thing. I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed everything about it because I know it's not hitting hard. I know it's not hitting home like we wanted to, but I mean, he came out, it said all heart, no soul. So trying to show that he'll do anything to win a match. I mean, Dijakovic came off looking really strong in the match. The guy had a one-upsmanship the whole time. It was kind of a fluke win, the way the turnbuckle pad came off and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like they're building it slowly, and that might be more beneficial to Gargano and his character down the line than to just hit the ground running and throw him in our faces. Because as you guys can see, y'all are not receiving it really well. So baby steps.
So we'll follow that with Jim. Let me ask you this. Diamond Dijakovic, we saw him in a triple threat match against Damian Priest and Keith Lee, lost it. That feud 101 Keith Lee, lost tonight. We talk about getting dubs and being over and stuff like that, but he's still your boy. Why is that?
My boy's always my boy. First of all, I don't turn on that. But here's the thing. This is not about Johnny Gargano. He's irrelevant. He's going to be the valet to his wife, and he's going to be a producer in the next couple of months. So he's irrelevant in this whole picture.
Whoa.
It's about my boy, who's the future of this company, and especially NXT. These dubs that he's not getting is a problem, because when he was with Keith Lee, they're putting on matches of the year. They're both getting over, and as best as you can, together, when both guys need to get over, but they're making it work, right? They're putting on A+ matches. They're doing good stuff on the promos, in ring. But then there's no direction. And there's no direction for Keith Lee right now. There's no direction for my boy Dominic. It's as if they went like a 3 series with these two, and then they have no plans for either of them going forward. This is what I call the land of the miscast and lost, because both of these guys, even though Keith Lee has the title, he's lost. We haven't even seen him tonight. He's kind of on and off. And my boy's jobbing out to this scrub tonight. I mean, that's not a good sign. I'm concerned about that. And I think this is almost I'm getting to a point where I'm almost willing to bypass my boy in NXT and put him onto a bigger brand, just like the Forgotten Sons, who were not getting over in NXT and suddenly are getting over on SmackDown. I think it's time. If you don't have plans for him and Keith Lee, then move him to a different brand, because they're right now getting not used properly. They're being wasted, if you would consider me. There's no way my boy moves a step.
Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from you. Is that what you're trying to say?
He never has and never will. That's for sure.
You got soul, brother. I love that.
His wife's on it. That's a different story. But
look, I'll be honest with you guys, and I try not to get my opinions in the show as much, because I'm all about moderating.
Why
and all
not?
that.
No, you should.
Because
say it. Keep it. Say it.
Gargano is not working for me. And the thing about Gargano, I was talking to an associate about this. He is salt. I put salt on my fries. I put salt on a little bit of tomato in my salad sometimes, give it a little extra kick, but I can't have a meal of salt. Gargano, Ciampa, gold. Gargano, anyone else? I just can't. And now I'm sitting there and I'm watching this guy coming out to Attitude Era music, dressing like an Ice King for some reason. And you're going to tell me that Dominic Dijakovic was just so overwhelmed by DDT from Johnny Gargano? What?
Horrible.
I went to college, good sir. Don't insult my intelligence. You know what I'm saying?
That was a great analogy, by the way. I loved it.
I like that.
I'm heated, but we got to move on because it's a stacked show today. Akira Tozawa, a guy who can't win on Monday nights, somehow gets the dub today in the interim cruiserweight title tournament. Humza, I'm going to start with you. Is that kind of odd that you have someone like Akira Tozawa, who's very, very capable, has amazing stamina? They even talked about that in the show. But on one day is a jobber, another day is in the running to be the next cruiserweight champion.
Right. I mean, I get it. You got to collect a paycheck, so you do what you got to do. But I personally don't like it that much, because I like Akira Tozawa and I want him to win, and I like for him to get these W's. But as we mentioned this before, if he goes on to Raw and jobs out every single time, then comes back to NXT and wins every single time, it kind of makes the entire roster of NXT look weak overall. So it's not very smart strategy when it comes to the entire roster there, because, it's like saying if they were to storm into Raw and try to face them, they would lose that match. But we saw in Survivor Series, that's the complete opposite. So it's a little confusing overall.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to read it. Emily May. I mean, the interim cruiserweight title seems to be a lot more complicated than it has to be, but it's a good way to stretch things out over weeks and times. Thoughts about Akira's showing, I guess, in this tournament vis-a-vis his matches on Monday nights?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this whole kind of like round robin thing. I feel like it is a moment for people to really kind of get into, like, have kind of a title run and get those reps in the ring. But I don't know if it's as strong as a strong showing for him, as it could be, because I don't know if I agree with all of these matchups that we saw, that we necessarily saw tonight.
Well, Akira did win his match tonight, and Jim, the question I have for you is gentleman Jack Gallagher, right? So here's a guy that was signed to 205 for a long time, and he looked changed, looked all toughen up and stuff, and lost 2 straight in this tournament. Is Jack done, Jim? And if he isn't, where can he go after this?
To the unemployment line, because if you lose to Akira Tozawa, a guy who's been he's been the king of jobbers. Just like Haywood Wong and some of these other ones are the kings of being minions in the chat. That's the point here. The point is that this guy cannot lose to Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa is a classic example of enhancement talent. And if enhancement talent gets a clean win on you and he's 2-0 this tournament, first of all, this tournament is a complete sham at this point. But this is over for Jack Gallagher. Jack Gallagher, it's game over. Those tattoos, you better get some white ink on those tattoos or we'll get rid of them, because you're not getting over ever. This is a horrible look, not only on your chest, but on your record, even worse. Okay, so it's over for Jack Gallagher. There's no hope for him. And Akira Tozawa, I mean, this is counting miracles, getting 2 wins. These are 2 wins he will never see in the next 5 years if he's around.
You call that wrestling tournament a sham?
It's a sham.
Wow.
You have a guy, well, why? I'll tell you why.
That's
the
not
guy
cool.
that's pretending to be released, is probably going to win the title. Then you have an old version of Sin Cara that can't move in a ring, really, trying to get
different
over.
skill set. I won't give you. No, I can't. No.
Whatever.
Phantasma is not Sin Cara. I'm sorry. You can't do that.
Other guys, I don't even know who else is in that tournament.
Fine.
Honestly. So it's irrelevant. Give it to Jordan Devlin. He's right. All these guys are paper fake champions. They mean nothing if Akira Tozawa's 2-0.
Wow.
That's why it's an interim. That's why it's interim.
Yeah,
Say it again, Emily. Say it again, Emily.
That's why it's interim, okay? So it's not gonna be permanent, okay? So it's okay to have this moment of this tournament, because you got to give these guys a shot. Because how are they ever going to step up their game and get above and beyond what you are calling, these enhancement matches, and really show what they can do if you're not giving it to them?
Real quick, I want to shout out to the
This is what happens, by the way. This is what happens when 205 Live gets canceled as a show. Now we need to see this on NXT. This time that they're taking away from better talents. We're just seeing these guys who don't matter.
That's going to happen once the title became the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. I would not do that. You're leaving money on the table if you don't put that title in NXT. But real quick, I want to shout out the chat here. Real YT, Dylan Matthews, Haywood Wong, thanks for supporting all of us, and thank you for making us the ESPN TV talk. So if you're liking the show right now, live streaming it, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends on social media, write a comment. We all read the comments. And if you like the whole iTunes, Spotify thing, your podcast action, make sure you leave us 5 stars there too. And if you're like Johnny Gargano, and if you're like a fan of wrestling, I want you to train 20 years to be a wrestler. Be the best wrestler you can, to the point where they put wrestling in your last name, so Jim can call you a sham and say you're a loser.
I've said it from day one. Hey, I'm consistent with this. I'm consistent since day one. I've been on these airwaves. Okay,
Jim, the moment you can get in a ring and do what he does, then you can call him that, okay?
Hey, I'd rather not be in a ring. Listen, I'd rather not be in a ring if I'm going to be Johnny Gargano, okay? I'd rather stay at home and then embarrass myself being a wannabe star or whatever the hell he considers himself to be.
Okay.
All right, he's sitting next to his stack of money. So.
Hey, Johnny Gargano's smaller than me, so I'm not going to even comment on this. I'm
going to cut you off, Jim, to give you more time. It's now time for King's Court.
No, thank you. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Welcome
all hail
to the
King Jim Alexander and all of his crazy points and pronunciations of interim.
Truth. Okay, the truth's been spoken. When we get back in the studio, Lana's going to give me props. Rusev's going to give me props. You know how it goes with the King's Court, and we are right in it right now. Listen, I got a Chicago tan. I'm doing videos. I'm doing a lot of auditions. Listen, this bronzer's making me look like $1 million that I already was. I'm now $1 billion look-wise. So the women are coming into the King's Court without invites. We got Liv Morgan. I'm the queen of the King's Court right now, right here next to me. We have, of course, Chelsea Green, who keeps on impressing me every week, okay? And Robert Stone's manning the doors like he should. We have Charlotte Flair is now becoming regular, which is shocking. Alexa Bliss. We got the Iconics. I mean, this King's Court is just getting better and better every week. I am amazed. Lana's welcome, and we still are suspending Mandy Rose until she's done with that disgusting ogre over on SmackDown. We do not allow things, only pretty people like me in a King's Court, and that's how it goes this week. And manning the door, my boy, Dominic Dijakovic, Bobby Lashley, Dexter Loomis. We got plenty of firepower all around.
You said Chicago Tan, and I tuned you out. After that, I was like, I don't know what that is.
Absolutely.
I have no idea.
52
like
degrees of pure sun. 52 degrees of pure sun all day.
The snow is reflecting.
Yeah. He's out there outside just like Chicago.
I was trying to be like Kushina and see if I could fast forward this, but it wasn't working.
Two
so
times
we're near
a week
the
we do
tundra.
this.
All good things happen.
Humza, you need to get that watch fixed.
Yeah.
So speaking of Chelsea Green, she had a match today against Xia Li, which I was actually impressed with the match, not with the match itself. Aaliyah gets involved because she still has something to settle with Xia Li. And we talk about the women's evolution when it comes to WWE and NXT, but we have a women's undercard feud viewing. I am ecstatic. Emily May, I want to put this on you, but you are the host and the person carrying the flag over at Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly. Thoughts about Xia Li, Chelsea Green, and Aaliyah?
You know, I think this is going to be really, really cool. I'm excited to see it. I think Chelsea Green is doing a phenomenal job in NXT. She's bringing it. She really just, her look, it keeps getting elevated every week, every time we see her. And I'm kind of excited to see how she elevates other women in the brand. And I can see it already that, like, people are bringing their A game when they have her in the ring.
Very cool.
Well, they better bring their A game no matter what, or else they'll see the chopping
I know,
block.
but it's just, I feel like they're developing a really cool story here, and it's gonna be fun to kind of see how they play it out. Yeah.
Humza got a question for you. It comes from the chat. Haywood Wan said, it would be cool if Robert Stone acquires Lee into his faction. Good idea or nah?
Hell
At
no.
this point, it seems like everything can be kind of an open thing to play with, because I just like the fact that they're putting him in a storyline. When the match first started, I was just like, okay, what's this here for? It's a throwaway match. But when Aaliyah came out and you know, what's her name, Chelsea Green picked up the victory, I was like, okay, cool. There's something brewing here. There's something that they're sprinkling little seeds here and there. It's going to create another storyline for us in the women's division. Like I said, I thought the women stole the show tonight. I feel like they all did a wonderful job. And I love the fact that she calls her finisher the I'm prettier. Like, that's such a clever way of making the unprettier like into a female version of that move. So overall, I enjoyed every bit of it. I think whichever way they want to go with it, it'll be fun to watch them develop.
So
yeah, and I like that. I like the managing aspect of Chelsea Green, and that I feel like she could add people to her group and create this faction that could be really fun.
Right. Yeah. And when's the last time we've had like an all-women's faction, like a DX or something? You know, that'd be fun to see. Who knows?
I think Team Bad or the Welcoming Committee's the last time I can remember personally.
It's been a while.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm on the fence with Chelsea Green. So I'm asking you, Jim, to help me out here. What am I missing? Why am I the most reserved in this panel when it comes to Chelsea Green? Why am I a square?
Come into the King's Court, and I'll show you why.
No, it smells weird. Chelsea, so let me know why Chelsea Green is dope.
Listen, Chelsea Green's an absolute star. She's got the look, she's got the charisma, and she's got some impressive skills in a ring. She doesn't need to talk much right now because she's got Robert Stone perfectly by her side doing all the talking. What else do you need in a star? I mean, look at some of these other people you're comparing around her. Does Candice LeRae right now, who's being supposedly pushed, who they're trying to make something, is she comparable to a Chelsea Green? Hell no, because Chelsea Green's got the elements of a star. The look, she's got the charisma, she's got a great gimmick, she's got a great talker for her right now. What else is there not to like? I mean, this is star quality, star material right now, and she's picking up wins, which matters, okay? So her star is on the rise, and there's everything to like about her and nothing to dislike.
You made it creepy. I love it, though. Before we move on.
I'm going to be a Loomis on her.
Yes, and that's creepy because he was
so
under the
creepy.
ring quite literally. It's now
No
kind
one
of
asked you, Emily. This is the King's Court kind of conversation.
court's over. It's my segment. Now it's time for
Where's
the
your
lockdown
gavel,
playlist.
Flobo?
I want my gavel back, man. It's not the same way
Yes,
it
use
does.
your gavel.
So lockdown playlist. If you're like me, you love NXT, but you can't leave your house because of a quarantine. I want to give you a bit of a throwback, a rewind of a show you can watch. I want to go all the way back to 2014, the first ever takeover arrival. It's a whole different world on the NXT we know. I mean, do you remember when Triple H cut a promo saying that he is NXT? Do you remember when Cesaro opened up the show as one of those Real Americans of the We the People faction against Sami Zayn? Do you remember Bo Dallas being NXT champion and fighting Neville in the ladder match? I sure as hell didn't. So I went back to NXT TakeOver Arrival. That is February 27th, 2014. Now,
Wow.
the biggest debut we've seen in a long time. Karrion Kross and Scarlet show up with a music video of an entrance in a match that was like half as long. I mean, look, one of the most high-profile signings, Scarlet Bordeaux and Karrion Kross, they were impressive tonight. Humza, as an entertainer, on the comedy side, you do stand up as well. You have a very, very small window to make a good impression, to be relatable to a crowd, if there is one. Did Karrion Kross hit the mark? And if so, how?
I enjoyed it. I loved it. I think they did. And I might be just a sucker for like smoke and mirrors and stuff like that. I miss it so much from the actual show, right? So that could be what it was, but they sold me. They sold me on it. They had a nice look to it. I like the way she came up Scarlet came up underneath him in the ring, and it seemed like she came out of the smoke out of nowhere. And it was just a good look overall. To have them squash that guy a lot of play. I forgot his name already. Leon Ruff, that's him. He's a great seller, by the way. He's a good salesman. He's doing well for himself. I'm proud of that guy. But no, I think they sold it. I think they sold it for me. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I want to see what happens next. I want to see how they can take it further. I'm in.
Yeah, Emily May, what's up?
Yeah.
Smoking
I loved it as well, because it's one of those things. They've been building up all these video packages over weeks and weeks that like this huge debut was going to happen, and I love how like that it paid off, that you had this lot of this fog and lights and this video package and music, and it was packaged together on brand, and it worked really well for them. I love Scarlett's look. Like, she looks fantastic. There's like glitter. She's like glitter and some shine to her, but has like that edge that she really needs to kind of match him. So I really liked it. And again, we know that it was gonna be this like them coming out and making a statement, and they definitely did tonight.
Karrion Kross looks like a guy that could do a lot of damage, and he has a fantastic back history. But we all know the NXT and WWE universes are different. Jim Alexander, you are a resident Vince McMahon, brother.
That's right.
About Karrion Kross, you see him fitting in with the roster in this style?
Absolutely. That's a star right there. When you can see the presence on his debut, there's mystery. The guy has a great look. He seems ferocious. This is what Johnny Gargano isn't, okay? This guy is a legitimate heel. He seems like a badass. Shout out to my sister who's burying me in the chat for some damn reason. But my sister Sophie. But actually, I will give her a shout out because she's actually she's French. She has a friendship with Scarlet Bordeaux in real life. So that's something to throw out there. She's got more hookups than I do, apparently, with the wrestling world. So that's concerning at that point. But I like this combo of Scarlet and Kross, man. I think they're gonna do big things. I think this is the kind of team where they need to be main event level from the start. And I think there's nothing that really you don't need to start them on at the bottom, because they're over automatically. So you just got to ride the wave and put them to the top. Right now, when I think we're going to get to this, the NXT championship is up for grabs technically. So why not a Killer Kross go book him right away for the top as a destructive force who goes through the roster real quick, because those two are a killer combo. No pun intended.
I get where you're trying to go. That's pretty cool. So moving on, we had our hour one main event. The Queen of Charlotte Flair taking on the Joshi Judas, Io Shirai. You know what? Heel versus heel matches, they say it never worked, but not here. This right here was a classic, unfortunately, and it kind of weird with the DQ on the side of Charlotte Flair. But Rhea Ripley's back. The rumors were swirling about her work visa and permits, but somehow she's back and she mean business. Humza, I want to start with you. Here's the idea of story building I liked about the match. DQ finish and Rhea coming back, and Rhea and Shirai has this whole dust up and fisticuff. Thoughts about the match and the fallout?
You know, I absolutely hate a DQ finish because typically it's WWE's way of getting out of when they book themselves into a corner. However, it worked in this case because Rhea Ripley came out. I think they're going to add Io Shirai into this triple threat with them, which I would love because as much as I love Rhea Ripley and as much as I love the Queen Charlotte Flair, I'm such a huge Io Shirai fan. I've yet to see her on my screen, and I don't just enjoy watching everything she does. From just the way she looks when she walks out to the moonsaults, the high flying, her way of speaking. I'm not sure if she doesn't know how to speak English or if she just likes to speak Japanese or not, but I could see her going further than Asuka down the line because I just feel like she's a star. And if they can have her,
Asuka's got star qualities already. She's over.
Right.
Why would you think Io Shirai has even more potential than her?
The reason why is because they've already ruined Asuka, in my opinion. So there's no coming back from what they've already done. I think that, you know, they made her lose her winning streak to Charlotte Flair, I think, at WrestleMania. So that was
someone's going to lose.
Kind of just took her a dip, and then she loses everything as a tag team champion. So Io Shirai could be like, in my opinion, a second version of Asuka. And if they did it right, they can really make her a bigger star than what Asuka comes off to be.
Jim, do you agree or disagree with that?
I completely disagree. I think Asuka's already borderline star, and she's been a star when she came out. She had that undefeated streak. She had a WrestleMania match, a big WrestleMania match, right? So now, of course, she was going to lose at some point. You can't just go out. This isn't WCW of Goldberg or old or something. But I think they're building up Asuka again. I think she's really over right now, more so. Look at her on Raw every week being featured. I think Io Shirai is more so in the Kairi Sane category because she's more over than Kairi Sane, but what does she offer besides in-ring skills, right? We're seeing a little bit more personality out of Io Shirai, more so and more. So I hope they keep on developing, but I just don't know if she has the pull and entertainment factor that Asuka does. Asuka's a character, and she can make herself into a character, and a fun one where you can get behind or you're interested to see her. I don't know about Io Shirai. She's just a good wrestler. When I look at this feud with her and Charlotte, and now if you put Ripley, Io Shirai doesn't fit in that legitimately. I would never bank on Io Shirai to win anything in that feud. So, I mean, I think she's a little bit shooting over her stars at this point.
You're
Oh
so
man,
definitive.
Emily's face is like disgusted. Whoa.
No, I'm not disgusted. I just have to disagree with Jim. Wow, Jim.
Go for it, Em.
I'm just gonna say Io Shirai, like, she's incredible, and I know, like, Jim, you just said that she's not good. She's only good in the ring, and I have to disagree because it's more than just being in the ring. It's the presence she brings to everyone around her. And the moment that I saw tonight was backstage with Rhea Ripley, and there was that tension, there was that moment, there was that big blow up, and it was physical, it was emotional, it was like a mental kind of game that they were playing. And so if this turned into a triple threat match, I think it would be really awesome because we've seen the Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley. So like adding someone else that's just as talented and can bring some more strategic wrestling moves into the mix, I think would really kind of make it interesting.
Well said.
I'm kind of, for the record, I'm kind of in the middle. I think Asuka, as Jim would say, is a finished product. She can still build, but we have the Empress of Tomorrow. You really can't really start over with that. When Io turned heel and then said, hey, look, I can bring you this entire character from scratch, I appreciate that. If I had a super card and you had Asuka versus Io Shirai, I know Asuka's bringing presentation. I know she's bringing the costuming. I know she's bringing the nuance. But then Io has the athleticism, the flexibility, and the stamina. So I really can't compare them. But they are Japanese and something to do because they're wrestling fans. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I can see.
By the way, just to clarify, I was not comparing them as in, they're both Japanese, but they're both
you were.
Japanese.
No,
promos is what I was getting at, and then Jim cut me off and said, take it from there. But I was trying to get to.
I would take Kairi Sane over Io Shirai right now.
Then you can have her.
She doesn't want. She's married.
I'm taking her and her umbrella. That's fine. More of a gimmick and better presentation to me.
But I think this is an opportunity for Io Shirai to kind of shift her brand and elevate her brand even more when she's going against Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. So it's an opportunity for her to really hone in on who she wants to be and what she wants to do and how she's going to do it. So I think it's an opportunity.
She needs a brand then because she doesn't have one right now. So agreed.
I think we're kind of bearing the lead here. Rhea Ripley's back. She's been gone for a month.
Yes.
People are talking about the fact that, she's stuck with her visa or not, but she's back. She's angry and looks like that's going to be set for a rematch. Emily May, thoughts about that? I know we can't really hedge and slow up feuds because we don't really know if they're booking for the next week and who's available. Is it smart to have a rematch with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte now, or would you want to have Charlotte do more what she's doing now, like the wrestling twice a week and all that?
I feel like we're on a path right now. I feel like it's too soon to do a rematch. I think we should see where this goes with Charlotte kind of defending it across the NXT women's division and see kind of where it goes and kind of build that tension between Rhea Ripley and her again. Or maybe Rhea Ripley and some other female talent. I think there could be other things that could be built there. I don't necessarily want to see that again right now.
Right. Is it, I feel like I understand it's out of her hands with what's going on, but yeah, once you lose by submission, you disappear for a month. It's kind of hard to get that momentum back. And I want to ask, I know from the fan standpoint, but as a wrestler there, Humza, I know a lot of guys when they're training, let's say they really have this goal of coming in and taking over, but they an ankle, they pop a shoulder and they have a little bit of a restart. I mean, how hard is it to get momentum as a performer when you go out there to the ring?
It's very hard to get momentum, but it's not hard if you go in there thinking about the team and doing it for the overall product and the show, except for thinking about yourself. It becomes hard when these wrestlers come in and they are only thinking about how they can make themselves look good or how they can take something and come out on top or what they can do to make a move look better and whatever it may be. At the end of the day, this is a performance that we're working together to put on a show. And if you come out here and R-Truth said this the best, he takes lemons and makes lemonades out of it. He gets like the worst of the worst gimmicks and he makes great things happen out of it. So it's not about how hard to push. It's about just keeping your options open and taking what they give you and making the most of it to present the audience with a finished product.
That's a good point. But let's talk about taking the best of opportunities. The second match in the tournament tonight, Jake Atlas against Kushina, who is a brand new Kushina. Getting the submission moves in, living the gimmick, getting put over by commentary. You know, I like Kushina. He should win this thing is what I'm saying. Emily May, Jake Atlas, we love him. We love him to death. I think he has a good place here. Thoughts about the match and where Kushina and Jake Atlas will go after this tournament because apparently it's a sham.
It is.
You know, this was one of the matches tonight that I thoroughly enjoyed. I felt like they both were paired pretty equally in kind of the types of moves that they could do. Very like high flying, a lot of like interesting, intricate moves, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm glad Kushida is getting this time in the limelight because it's been so long where he's really had some wins and really has had a moment to shine. So I feel like tonight he did that, and I'm interested to see kind of again this round robin thing every week is getting more and more interesting and getting we never know what's going to happen. So we still have a few more weeks to go.
Yeah, Kushida, I know you're not the biggest fan of, but Jake Atlas, you saw 2 matches of him, first time on NXT. Are you on board, or you need to wait some more time, or are you just not feeling it?
Hell no, I'm not feeling it.
Hell no.
There's a thing. I mean, Kushida should win this sham tournament because he's the most over and most, I guess, qualified of all the guys. He's the most legit. He's been an NXT guy, not a 205 guy, right? So this is the guy they were trying to push. This was the big signing, right? So this is the chance to maximize on Kushida. For once, they have an opportunity. So he needs to sweep this tournament and end up getting that title, if that means anything. Because right now, what we're seeing from Kushida is they're letting him work. They're letting him do things in a ring. They're letting him look at his paper watch. I think that's what it was. I don't know what it was. When Mackenzie was asking him about how does it feel to win. But I like what he's doing. At least he's showcasing himself, which matters, right? I mean, this guy's getting finally a shine. Like you said, they're putting him over on commentary. If this doesn't work, there's nothing left for Kushida, right? But they need to make this tournament maximize for him the most. And so far, they've done a good job of that.
Is Jake Atlas getting the short end of the stick? His first match, it was more like Drake Maverick. He may not be around. And the second match is Kushida. He's been getting better. Like no one's really putting over Jake. Is that cool? Is that nothing to worry about, or what?
It is what it is at the end of the day. Jake put on a good show. I'd say that much. I mean, he's losing, but I looked at him as in he's very athletic. I didn't realize he was a cheerleader and tumbler and whatever. So that's why he does all the handstands and whatnot.
Cheerleader? What is he, like, Spirit Squad member?
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe
Throwback, deep cut. Yeah.
He was the one reject off the Spirit Squad that didn't make it. I don't think I mean, at the end of the day, I think he's doing well. He's fairly new to the division, so it'd be kind of weird to put him over right now when he hasn't built up anything like that. So I don't think he's in a bad spot. I personally love Kushina, by the way, and I'm agreeing with you, Jim. If they make him win this or let him win this, I'd be so happy with that because the dude is so fluid in the ring, and everything goes from one move to the other, and it's just his style of wrestling is very difficult to do on the fly the way he does it, and the fact that he pulls it off so smoothly, I was blown out of my mind. So Kushina all the way. Jake Atlas also made a fan out of me today.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get to chat about Jake Atlas, but I really like him as well. And again, he's new to the division, like Humza said, and we're still getting to know him. We're still getting to know like what he can do. And I feel like this is the great time for him to really show us what he can do. And
it's just
so
odd
I think
to me
he
that
did.
Sorry, I thought you were done. Go for it.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just odd to me that his last name, they call him Jake Atlas, and Atlas to me is the guy that holds up the world, right? So he's supposed to be like a strong guy. So just that name is
Tony Atlas.
Tony Atlas, yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about the Greek god Atlas that holds up the actual earth, like mythology, right? So that's where they come from. So it's kind of weird to me that he's not a big guy.
Either of them.
Yeah.
So one of the more confusing aspects of today's episode is Finn Balor. So a couple weeks ago, he was not seen. He's back. He's surly. He's like, whatever happened, and people can get revenge. And then I thought it was over with. But when Cameron Grimes won a match that was like 30 seconds long, just because Cameron Grimes is getting powers from his hat, it seems. But then starts running his mouth. Finn Balor comes out, and they're having a dust-up, as Jack Farmer would say in the AEW Dynamite After Show, dust-ups and fisticuffs and flim-flam, shenanigans, Donnybrooks. Cameron Grimes, Finn Balor is set for next week. I am befuddled, perplexed, and confused. If Finn Balor is supposed to be the man coming back to NXT, uncrowned champion, why is he getting involved with Cameron Grimes and his hat? Emily May, walk me through this. I'm so confused.
Well, I'm confused too. This one I'm not sure. It was. You knew that something was going to happen. Cameron Grimes on the mic. You had that Finn Balor looming, behind him coming out. But I'm not sure where they're going to
put it over, Emily. Put it over. You like everything. What? Come on. This is a chance to put it over Cameron Grimes before I bury
him.
Jim, you're so unfair. No, I'm going to say.
Where's my gavel?
No, I'm going to say I'm not sure what. I didn't know what to think of this moment. I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't necessarily like it, and I didn't necessarily hate it. I just don't know where it's going.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I mean, you could argue that, hey, man, Cameron Grimes' hat didn't even break a sweat in his match. So, if anything, he has a right to be on next week. But I don't want to see Cameron Grimes. You just reintroduced not being on TV in like 2 months.
Yeah, but he chickened out. So if you're gonna threaten someone and say that you can take someone down, and then when they confront you and you can't, then what's the point in that? It totally defeats the purpose of, challenging someone.
Humza, why this happen? Why?
Humza shaking his head.
On my notes even says, and this is funny because it says Finn Balor and it just says question mark after it, and that's the only thing I wrote down for that was just Finn Balor. I was okay. I love Finn Balor. I always like watching Finn Balor. I don't know if I want to see him in this. I mean, I'd bury him, but I'm sure Jim will do that himself later on. So, Jim, to you.
Well, thank you for giving it over to me, Humza, because I don't need to take notes to know that this is an absolute travesty what you're doing here to Finn Balor. What an embarrassment. You go from Walter, then you go from teasing with Velveteen, two really potential, interesting, good matchups for Finn Balor, and you give him this mug right now who has not been getting over, who's got more taco meat than anyone could ever want to look at. This guy should not be nowhere near a ring next to Finn Balor, a guy of Finn Balor's caliber. This is a detriment. This is all about Finn Balor. This is a detriment to Finn Balor. How there's no direction. And yeah, sure, some forces are against this, that he can wrestle Walter overseas. I get it. Velveteen was a possibility. We're going to get into that next. But my goodness, you are screwing Finn Balor. He comes over from Raw and SmackDown, and he gets Cameron Grimes. Hell no. This is worse sham to that tournament, okay? Because I cannot believe that Finn Balor would agree to be part of this angle. This is
You know what? To be honest,
on what they're doing to Finn Balor.
No, I don't feel like that match is even going to happen. I feel like it's just going to be a match set up, and then Phil Balor's going to come out, and something's going to happen. Lights are going to go off, and everything's going to go haywire. I don't even think the match is
better because Finn Balor's too good for this. Okay, this guy didn't come over this roster to be arguably should be the main guy on this roster and should be holding the championship, which we'll probably get into next. But man, you give him Cameron Grimes, and that's just saying, hey, Finn, we really have nothing for you. Just take a break for a couple weeks because we're completely lost, and knowing that he should be on top.
Yeah, it might be a bait. We might have a bait and switch situation later down the line where it doesn't happen.
Speaking of the switch, our main event tonight, Velveteen Dream against Adam Cole, baby. It's pretty much standard fare. Not a fan of Velveteen Dream in the corner rules. I'm not here to shame anyone's physical attributes, Jim. But what happened at the end of the match was something.
I would.
Taco me. I heard you. Undisputed Era gets involved, and your boy Dexter Lumis somehow lifts underneath the ring like Hornswoggle, came sliding out like a male stripper, and then came a whole big dust up. Dexter Lumis, who is he hanging out with? He's rolling Velveteen Dream, or what's going on, Jim?
Hey, doesn't matter. My boy's everywhere, okay? A guy like this plants his spots. He's in the corner. He's underneath the ring. You don't know where my boy's going to come out and stare you down and knock you out, which is what he did. The point is, my boy's being used. That's important. He's being utilized throughout the show with different There's something going on with Dream. I think that's where it's leading next to. It seems like Dexter Lumis versus Dream in a match or some kind of union. But the problem here is the bigger picture, aside from my boy, is Velveteen Dream. I mean, if you don't give this guy a title now, what's the point, man? Because this is what we've been waiting for. You bring back Velveteen after the injury. He was so over before the injury. And you won't let him go over Adam Cole. Adam Cole right now is a disgrace to have a run that he's had with this title. He's being put in there as a disgrace. Yes, because he's put in there. His title run is one of the all-time. I think it's the longest title run.
It is the longest. It is the longest.
That is an absolute disgrace. A clown like him is carrying the title, not because he's not world champion material. Okay, he is an upper mid-carder at best, a mid-carder. And this guy's carrying the title for the longest reign ever, and you won't give it to Velveteen Dream, who's way more of a star, who's way more of a potential future franchise guy in this company. But no, you're gonna keep on rewarding Adam Cole and giving him these wins. This guy, I don't know what kind of pictures or videos he has of someone in upper management or whatnot, but there's no way this dude should be holding this title this long. It's an absolute joke that he still has this title.
I want to get your thoughts in there, Emily, because I'm about to go blow my top. That's about because
okay.
I mean, look, I think that Velveteen Dream has an upside, and I think Adam Cole needs to drop.
Give him the title.
I don't think he's a disgrace, but Emily, may please continue.
Yeah, I mean, Jim, I think you took it a little too far. I feel like Adam Cole has worked his way up and has, fought people off to keep the title, and they're keeping it rolling. I think it is. We should see a title belt on Velveteen Dream at some point. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but I think we are ready, and they're going to build. Hopefully, they build to it in the correct way. And maybe there is some partnership between Velveteen Dream and Lumis, because Lumis is really, burning up right now. He's really hot. People seem to be really into him right now, and really interested to see kind of what he brings to NXT. And so it might be one of those things that we see some fire kind of put below them and see some action where Velveteen Dream can really make his title run.
Sorry, cut you off there, Emily, but Humza, Velveteen Dream was a former North American title holder. I mean, I'm not sure he's going to go back down there. It looks like he's on the main event scene. Mm-hmm. But thoughts after tonight's matchup? He got the clean loss against Adam Cole. Is there a rematch available there? If there isn't, how does Dexter Lumis get involved? Are you on board?
I'm not sure, Jim. I'm not sure if you made the pictures comment because you know about what's going on with Velveteen Dream, but apparently there's some pictures.
Oh, I didn't actually, but
right.
No pun intended.
I thought that's what this was. I thought this was like, okay, Velveteen, you're in this little scandal right now. Let's get you out of here and put someone else in your place. And Lumis was the next best thing. That's what I thought it was. So.
What do you think? Let me ask you, Holmes. What do you think the chances are that this was a last-minute switch, that the title was going to go to Velveteen, but this allegation or whatever happened and totally changed the direction?
That's what I think happened 100%.
Okay.
I think that's exactly what happened 100%.
Fair point.
It's hard to say. I'm not saying I agree or disagree.
I
It's
don't
hard
know.
to say because, like, on one hand, I can see, well, let's maintain the championship because we don't know what NXT is going to be. And the other hand, it's like, well, it's Velveteen Dream's time. He went through Roderick Strong, and now, so I don't know what that one is right there. But we don't do rumors and speculation. We report on the show. And next week, the tag team titles are going to be on the line. Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle are going to take on Imperium. I can't wait for that one. But actually, we're out of time here in the NXT After Show on AfterBuzz TV Wrestling and Sports. We're back here next week. AEW Dynamite on Nexus Network. But before we get out of here, Emily May, where can the world find you online?
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Emily May Heller and catch Total Bellas at 7 o'clock on Fridays.
Hell yeah. And Humza Mania, brother, where can they find you?
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Humza Mania, Humza_Mania, HUMZA_MANIA. Shout out to Samoan Dynasty. Thank you for my shirt.
Get merch.
Don't promote
now?
it too much. You
Out?
might have someone out after.
I mean, I train with the Samoan Dynasty. Rikishi's my trainer, so
You can't
honorary,
even,
baby. I can even say the
you
word
can't even
oos
get
now.
me a water bottle, man. I see how it is. All right, Jim Alexander, where can we find you online?
Well, all of you can follow this pretty face at Jim Alexander on all social media, Instagram, Twitter. You got to like these pictures because this looks good. And you know what also looks good? RealTalker.com. That's the place for all the best interviews. Subscribe on YouTube and